Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, September 26th. This is your Weekend Warrior Workshop Series installment. I'm currently house sitting, so I'm filming from this nice little sunroom here. And there's a little kitty here named Penny, so she'll be a special guest today. So anyways, today I had a request to do a video around hip health. And it's unfortunate that I got this request. One of our students is dealing with a little bit of a hip injury, but also on the positive side, it's really good information that needs to be known. And so today's practice is all about how to have healthy hips. And I'll preface this just by saying, if you're currently dealing with any kind of hip injury, not to push past anything that causes pain in today's practice. If anything, it'll also be an opportunity for you to notice, oh, when I move my legs and hips in this particular way, this is what causes pain. And so you want to stop that for now and maybe do the opposite and get that checked out by a medical professional. And now you can give them details about the injury. Oh, it hurts when I turn my leg in. It hurts when I open my leg out to the side, and things of that nature. And so I was up last night planning this, and I'm looking at it now, and I have to say I'm a little bit nervous myself to do it. So buckle up. We're going to start seated. For your practice today, you'll definitely need a blanket or a block. Any kind of blanket will do. And just sit comfortably for a moment. You can have your palms facing down. So we embark on this adventure together of the hips. The eyes are closed and the tip of the tongue through the middle of the roof of the mouth. You start to tune into your breath. Each full inhale and each full exhale. Noticing the sounds in the room. Noticing the sensations that are arising in your own body. Notice the beating of your own heart. Your mental and emotional state. And letting the breath merge all of those aspects of you together. You can join your hands together and bow into your practice. So welcome, and let's begin. We'll start today in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. And to do this pose, say you can use the one blanket. If you have some pillows, that's also really helpful. So I'll show you with the blanket because that's what I said you would need. You could unfold the blanket so it's kind of long and roll it up like this. And so you bring your feet together, and then you take the blanket around your ankles and fold it so the top of the ankles and underneath the outsides of them, as demonstrated here. And this way you have some support as you lie down on your back. So other options, if you have two blocks or really big pillows, you could put them under the thighs and the knees, and that would give you even more support. I don't want you to feel like you're hanging here. So if you do need to get some more pillows to prop up your legs, please do that. Hanging is not really, it's never good for the body. And take one hand to the lower belly and the other hand near the chest. So now let's move into some breaths. Full belly breaths. So you're expanding three-dimensionally this abdominal region. Feeling most of the expansion happen in the hand closer to the pelvis. And hold it for about a count of 4. And then exhale to a count of 4. Inhaling to 4. Exhaling to 4. Continue to breathe like this. The elements that are related to the pelvis or the pelvic region are water and earth. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the way these elements work together. The earth element would be deeper at the seat of the pelvis, at the very bottom, and the water element is between the navel and the pubic bone. And when we talk in relation to hip health, the earth element is going to come into play by creating the boundaries, the areas of strength, the organization that is required for your hips to move safely and effectively and feel good. And then the water element, just like a river flows, down the way, bordered by earth, the water element can be movement, it can be fluidity, it can be that room for creativity and expansion. Like, for instance, water without any boundary will just spread everywhere. There's no organization. When you add earth, a river is formed that has direction and it has flow. And the water can still erode the earth a little bit. So let's look at that as the water component and the ability to expand our boundaries. So we're not locked in to any kind of movement pattern, but it is organized and it's directed, and we can kind of shift it around with practice and with awareness. So now please bring your awareness to the pelvic floor, which is the very bottom of your pelvis. And when you inhale, I'd like you to contract that area strongly in and up. It's the same muscles you would be using if you had to use the bathroom, but you were holding it in. And really strongly hold it in and up. Now you can exhale and do it even more. Hold, hold, hold. Now inhale, release it. And regular exhale through the mouth. So these are, you might know these as Kegel exercises. They're very good for the pelvic floor health. And in yoga, something that's called Mula Bandha. Try it again. So I want you to do it on the inhale. Tone everything in and up. There's a triangle, and the point of the triangle is up near to the navel. Exhale, tone and lift even more. Hold. Then inhale, release. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Inhale, pelvic floor tones in and up. Breath moves near the ribs. Exhale, tone more. Hold, hold, hold. Inhale, release in a belly breath. And exhale out through the mouth. So that mula bandha, that pelvic floor work, is really involved in all of the movements we're doing today. So now using the support of your hands, close your knees together. And you could windshield wiper your knees a little bit from side to side. Then just have your knees bent and your feet flat. If you have a block, or you could use your folded up blanket, just place it between your knees now so that you can start feeling the upper inner thighs hugging in towards the blanket or the block there. Both of the hands move down to the lower belly. The thumbs are below the belly button line. When you inhale, deepen the natural arch of your lower back. If you were to put your hand under there, there'd be space between the floor and the spine. On the exhale, imprint your lower back into the floor. If you wouldn't be able to put your hand under there because it was imprinted. Inhale, deepen the natural arch of the lower back. Exhale, imprint the lower back. Continue doing this little by little. You inhale when you expand into the tilt. You exhale when you tuck. Keep gently firming the blanket or the block between your legs. So everything is navigating around that deep pelvic floor area. We're organizing the way the pelvis is moving. Now make each of these movements smaller and smaller until you come towards a neutral pelvis. And in neutral, there will be a small arch under the lower back and a strong tone in and up of the lower abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor area. Remember this neutral place. Now remove your block or your blanket off to the side and straighten your legs so the heels are going towards the corners of your mat. Your hands can remain on your lower belly. Press the tops of the thigh bones slightly down and keep the deep tone in the pelvic floor. Half frog slides. Your right heel will slide up along the right edge of your yoga mat, just to your own extent, not to let the left hip heel up. Keep the left hip down, and then slide the right leg forward again. Remember, this is always working around the tone in the pelvic floor, the mula bandha. And we'll continue on the same side for, let's say, 10 times. You inhale and exhale. Inhale, slide it up. Exhale. So you might notice, for me, I'm actually not really going very far. So the moment I start to feel the pelvis tilt, the pelvis tipping, I've gone too far and I'm not organized anymore. But even if I make it smaller, you'll feel it in such a deeply specific area around the glute medius and glute minimus, some glute max. Can be really nice for the lower back as well. We'll take about 3 more. Good. Now we're going to continue working with the right leg. Again, press the tops of the thigh bones down and tone the lower abdominals. Now slide your right knee up just about 2 inches. And then from here, drive the center of your right heel straight down into the center of the ground and try to pull your heel back more. Don't actually pull it back more, but try, like it was super glued. And you'll feel the entire back of your leg lighting up from the glutes to the hamstrings, the back of the knee area. Keep that and now straighten the leg forward, and we'll do that 10 times. Bend it up slightly. Now once you bend it up, you need to hold and pull energetically back. And then you send it forward again. So that's the extra step here that we didn't do in half frog slides. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. So now moving to the left leg in half frog slides. Find neutral pelvis, tone the pelvic floor, the mula bandha. When you inhale, slide your leg up. Keep your right hip really heavy. If you put your right, oh, I got a cramp. If you put your right hip over, if you put your right hand over the right hip, that can help you have that awareness. You're just sliding your leg up and down with control, organizing the movement of the pelvis. About 8 more. It really doesn't take much. Keep your right toes pointing up to the ceiling. Good. Then straighten the legs and we'll work the hamstring slides. So your left knee sliding up, edge of the heel pressing straight down and pulling it back. Feel the whole back of your leg light up and then reach it forward. Slide it up and forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Just kind of letting all that go around neutral pelvis. You're going to keep your knees pointing to the ceiling now, and your feet as narrow as your hips. Hands can go to the lower belly. For the next few movements, as we move into some bridge lifts, you can err more on the side of a tucked pelvis. So an imprint of the lower back, a little bit. Bring the bottoms of the feet towards each other. It's more like you're just rolling the inner edges of the feet up to touch. So you still have some or most of the feet on the ground. Open your knees about halfway apart and then squeeze the inner edges of the feet towards each other. So you feel the muscles firming in towards the center of the pelvis. Now bring your arms to what I call goalpost arms. So the elbows are by the ribs and the fingers are pointing up to the ceiling. And you're going to actually do bridge lifts in this position. So you lift your hips up with your knees wide and lower down. 9, 8, neutral pelvis, but the energetic action of the imprint. There's a little more airing to the side of an imprint. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now square your legs again so the feet are flat on the floor and another 10 lifts. Push the heels straight down and pull them back. Lift and lower. 9, just focus on the legs and the hips. 8, don't focus so much on the spine. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Now bring both of your feet, waddle them towards the right of center. Open your knees about halfway, the inner edges of the feet pressing together. So there's engagement around the inner thighs. So you should feel a little bit crooked, and it's 10 of these crooked lifts. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Parallel legs, but the feet are still to the right of center, goalpost arms. Lift up, 10, 9. Keep it organized. 8, if you're not putting in the conscious boundaries of what to do, where to move. There's too much freedom for the water element to just go everywhere. We don't want that. We want it to have direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Waddle your feet through the center. And then waddle the feet towards the left, opening the knees a little bit. Inner edges of the feet pressing together. Butterfly bridge lifts. 10. You're going to feel more action in one side of the glute. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Parallel the legs, but keep them to the left of center. And 10 bridge lifts. 10. Try to use your hips symmetrically. There may be a tendency for the right hip in this case to sink down, so work harder so the hips stay level. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Bring it back to the center, the hips and the feet, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And then you can hug both of your knees into your chest, perhaps circling the legs around, doing whatever feels good for them. Then you can roll over to your side and come to a hands and knees position. You can have your toes curled under, so lean back here and get a nice stretch for the feet. And reconnect to your breath. Then when you inhale, shift forward. Put a little arch in the lower back and draw the lower abs in and up. So you find Mula Bandha, the root lock it's called, and neutral pelvis. Now from here, take your right leg, I'm going to turn. Take your right leg and send it straight out to the right. So your right toes are still pointing forward. Put a little arch in your lower back and lean back slightly until you feel a stretch for the inner thigh area. So keep pressing down through the outside edge of your right heel and at the same time energetically pulling the right heel and the left knee in towards each other. And if you're wanting more of a stretch, you just lean your hips back more. Breathe and hold. The inner thighs tend to be pretty tight and weak on people. So I always think it's a good idea to just stretch the area before doing more strengthening type of things. But to stretch it in a way that's organized and smart. Couple more breaths. Okay, we'll go to the other side. Simple transition, just take your left leg out to the left. Toes pointing forward, arch the lower back. Right knee and left heel hugging towards each other as you lean back. Playing with that element of earth and the freedom of water. Breathe. Bring that back to the center. Very good. Now sit up tall, so you're standing on your shin bones. Glutes wrapped down, pelvis is anchored forward, arms out, and lean back from your knee joints. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit tall. 3 more times. Hinge back while the pelvis is anchoring forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit tall. And last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit tall. Now please come to a seated position. And it could be helpful to use the blanket here, folded rather thin. So the bottoms of the feet will come together now in a butterfly shape. And you can have your hands around the tops of your ankles. Now from here, bend your knees up. So not that you're trying to push the knees apart, actually bend your knees towards each other. And using your hands, pull back on your ankles so that the chest lifts taller. Now, strongly press the inner edges of the feet into each other. So you start to feel this deep connection in this groin area. And while you can maintain that and the spine long and strong, start to press the knees apart. So you're trying to press your knees apart against the pulling of the knees together, which is really challenging because you're doing 2 actions at the same time. It's kind of like an arm wrestle. And of course, you have to let one, when the knees are opening apart, you need to let the outer hips win. When the knees are squeezing together again, the inner thighs are winning. But they're all working. They're both working in either case. So in and out, just a few times, and try to keep the spine really long. So if you needed to bring your hands behind you, you could do that here so that the spine can be more supported. And you're working with your inner thighs and feet. About 5 more times. So the next time your knees are coming in, place your feet flat on the ground. Your arms can be behind you with your fingers pointing away from you. You could always lie on your back and return to bridgeless if this doesn't work for you. Press your heels straight down and energetically pull them back like you were trying to pull them back, but they're stuck. And then lift your hips up and lower down, becoming right from the glutes. We'll do 10 of them. So this is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 5, 4, pelvic floor toning in and up. 2, and on 1, release. Now from here, swing both of your legs around to the left for this mermaid position. The left hand to the left shin, right hand slides up to the right ribs with a tender touch, and breathe into the rib cage. Option to stretch the right arm up and over the ear. Now lower the right hand down and split the legs apart to this deer pose or peace pose that I teach often. For today's variation, the right hand is going off to the side and the left hand is on the left hip. Try to sit up tall and then pay attention to your right foot, ankle, and shin bone. And what would it be like to pay attention to your left foot and shin bone, so your back leg here. I'm trying to mirror you so it's easier for you to see. So your left foot, try to lift it up. And you're gonna feel right around here. See? You need to take a close look, come and look. You can see that I'm trying to lift up the left foot. Now, many people won't be able to get it up right away, and that's fine. It's the action that matters. So you'll, even without lifting the foot, you'll be able to feel this side left glute hip area toning. Let's try for about 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, 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 and lower down. Now from here, take your front leg, so that's your right heel, and just slide it in a little bit. Pick up your left leg and loop it around. So your right hand is over the left foot, and your left hand is over the left knee. And give it a little rock, like a leg cradle. Try to keep the spine long. If you need to sit up against the wall, you can do that. And circle around. And now reverse. Then take your left shin bone and cross it in front of the right shin bone. Sit up tall and crawl forward. On the inhalation, walk your hands upright so your spine is long, and now pay attention to 2 things. The inner edge of your thigh bone, if you could imagine that there was an inner edge closer towards in front of you, and then the outer edge of the thigh bones closer towards behind you. And press both sides down evenly. So not to let the thigh bones try to roll too far in or too far out. Just keep them straight pressing down as you shoot your spine out of that foundation. And notice the difference you're feeling. It's that arm wrestle. It's the countering between inward and outward rotation. Take your time, sit up tall, and swing both of your legs around to the right. Right hand to the shin bone. Left hand can slide up to the rib cage. Nice tender breath in here. Option to lift the left arm up over the ear. Lower the left hand down and split the legs apart. So the left shin bone is forward and the right thigh bone is back, and both feet are flexed. Use the support of your hands and sit up tall. Bring your right hand to the outer right hip. So that haunch right there is what's working. Try to lift your right foot, that's your back foot, up and down. Up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lift and hold. Ah, did you get a cramp? Swing your back leg forward. Hold your left heel in comfortably, taking a leg cradle. Sit up tall and just rock it out. Gently from side to side. You could circle the leg as well. And reverse it. Then cross your shin bone in front of the left shin bone. Inner and outer edges of the thigh bones pressing down symmetrically as you lengthen your spine up and out of them. Crawl the hands forward and you feel the stretch for the outer hips. Breathe. On the inhalation, sit up tall. Bring the hands behind you. Close the knees together. And We're going to go through that sequence one more time, a little more flow. So now that we've introduced the structure, the earth element, let's find the water element, the room for the breath and the creativity. So the arms press down, the chest lifts up, and the heels press. Inhale, lift, and lower. Breathe at your leisure. 8, 7, 6, work from the glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Expand, option to let the head relax back. Lower down. Swing both of your legs around to your left. Left hand crawls out to the left, right arm sweeps up. Inhale. Exhale, lower the right hand down. Split the legs apart. Left thigh bone moves back, right shin bone moves forward. Right hand can be off to the side in support. Left hand on the left hip haunch. Lift the foot up and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold, hold, hold. Sweep your left leg out and around. Leg cradle, sit up tall, move the legs side to side, and circle it out. And reverse. Then cross the left shin bone in front of the right shin. Sit up tall, symmetrically pressing through the inner and outer thighs. And crawl forward. Breathe in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Straight down through the hips. Inhale, sit up tall. Swing both of your legs around to your right. Bring the right hand off to the right and sweep the left arm up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On the exhale, lower the left hand down, split the legs apart. Left shin bone forward, right thigh bone back. Sit up tall. Use the support of your left hand as needed and the right hand on the hip haunch. Lift the foot up and down. Up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit up tall. You might have noticed a tendency to lean. Swing your right leg out and around into leg cradle. Spine is really tall. Circle it out. That's the challenge here, to keep the spine tall. Cross the right shin bone in front of the left. Inner and outer thighs rooting down symmetrically. Lift up and forward. The hips stay rooted. Breathe in and exhale. Breathe in and exhale. Press down through the legs, pelvis and feet, sit up tall. And now you can swivel around to a prone position, which means you're lying down on your belly. So we're moving into the conditioning exercise. To do this, it'll basically be a pelvic tilt from the belly. Your forehead can be on the ground, but I might suggest you watch me first so you can see what's happening in my pelvis. Now, my head's gonna stay lifted just so I can talk, but your forehead will be on the ground. What you do is you first hug the legs together so you generate that strength and that energy in and up. Then you lift your hips up a little bit into a natural arch. Now this is not a stable position. It's too watery. We need to add the earth element by pointing the tailbone down and drawing the lower abs in and up. So you can see how my tailbone is actually tucking, but my hips are still elevated off of the ground. That's the conditioning exercise. Now put your forehead on the ground with your arms out in front and the fingertips, and we'll do it 3 more times. Starting by squeezing the inner thighs, arching the lower back, and then pointing the tailbone down, hold and breathe. And release. Wiggle the hips. And second time, squeeze the inner thighs together, little arch of the lower back, tailbone points down, abs in and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Wiggle the hips side to side. And last one, squeeze the inner thighs together, arch the lower back, tailbone wraps down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Very good. You can bring your forearms under your forehead, widen your legs, bend your knees, and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. And then from here, bring your hands by the sides of the chest, lift up to a hands and knees position, and you can go through a few rounds of cat-cow. Before making your way into your first downward facing dog. Capital letter A shape. Think about 10 breaths here. Feel free to pedal through the heels. Now notice if you can find neutral pelvis without the feedback of the ground by putting a small bend in the knees, arching the lower back and toning the abdominals, and then lengthening the spine out of the shoulders. Hips high and wide, heels pressing down. 5 more breaths. Okay, shift forward to plank pose. Just as you did on your belly, put a little arch in the back and wrap your glutes down. Find that deep connection in the center of the pelvic floor. You'll feel that Kegel action, the Mula Bandha, just the beginning of it. Hold here and breathe. We're looking for that sense of buoyancy and freedom of water amidst the structure and strength of earth. 3, 2, lower the knees straight down. Keep the pelvis in this neutral position. Bend your elbows straight back and lower down. Pelvis presses down, tops of the feet press down. Inhale, curl up to cobra pose. And you hover your hands so it's like a seesaw, really pressing the pelvis down and then curling up a little bit higher. Good job. Lift up to your hands and your knees and press it back to downward facing dog. 10 breaths, just some quiet time, 10 breaths. Now from here, step your right foot forward, however you need to get it there. Squeeze your legs towards each other and continue to press down. Try to find neutral pelvis. Little arch of the lower back and pelvic floor toning in and up. Tailbone pointing straight to the back heel. Now, lightly tap the back knee towards the floor while keeping your hips as high as possible. So those are two actions there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep the back knee down and the hips really pointed and lift up your arms. The legs are charging towards each other. Now you can keep your fingertips on the floor for more support, or you can try another 5 lifts with the arms up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands lower down and press it back to downward dog. Inhale, plank. Keep the pelvis pointed. Exhale, lower down. Seesaw, inhale, curl up. Abs in, press it back, downward dog. Feel your breath. Now you'll step your left foot forward, fingertips. Charge the legs towards each other. Neutral pelvis. Pelvic floor is toning. Knee drops. 5. Keep your hips high as the knee goes down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the knee down, legs hugging together and the arms lifting up. Option to keep your fingers down or do 5 more lifts. 5. Focus on the actions. 4. Not so concerned with the amount of repetitions. 2, 1. Well done. Lower the hands down, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen and extend. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Step your right foot forward. One more time. Option to combine all 10 from a lifted position or lowered or up. Going go for all 10 upwards. Here we go. Legs charge together, neutral pelvis. Dip. You don't have to touch the floor, just dip it down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Optional vinyasa. Five breaths, downward dog. Left foot forward. Legs charged together, lower the knee as needed. Or arms up. 10 knee drops. Really not a drop, it's a controlled lower. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hands down, step it back. Downward dog, hold, or optional vinyasa. Now from downward dog, move into a full plank position. Then lower your elbows to the ground. Clasp your fingers together. Walk your feet in a little bit. The knees will have to bend. Reach your hips up and down and forward. So it's dolphin to plank, as if your chest was moving to the thumbs. 2 and 1. Lower the knees down. Now from here, swivel onto your right side. Your right elbow will be under the right shoulder, your knees bent, and your left hand on your left hip. So for now, we're working from the bottom hip haunch, that same area you felt in peace pose. And lift your hips up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. Now from the top hip haunch, the left hip haunch, lift that leg up. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Very good job. Swivel it around to the other side. Left elbow under the left shoulder. The knees are bent parallel with the short edge of your mat, and your right hand on the right hip. Tailbone down, abs in. And we begin. Lift up and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. From that bottom hip haunch. 3, 2. Lift and hold. Take that top leg up as well from the top hip haunch, the right hip. Holding 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Very good job. Swing it around. Come to your hands and your knees. Walk to the back of your mat. Now we're moving into your favorite, everyone's favorite, hey, which is pigeon walking. So if you have blocks, you could start on your blocks. Otherwise, just go onto your fingertips and do your best. You'll take your left leg and open that out enough to the left and try to swing your foot under your body, crossing the left knee in front of the right. Then take your right leg out and around and cross it through. And keep going, navigating between the earth element, the structure of the pelvis, should be feeling more organized by now, and the water element, the movement, the fluidity. Once you're at the top of your mat, go backwards. It's not about the speed, it's about the specificity. And we'll do that one more time in each direction. So go up the length of your mat and to the back of your mat. Now, if this is easy for you, start lowering the space between the floor and the hands, going right to the palms or flattening the blocks to the next level. And reverse. Feeling it? All the way back. Okay, now from here, curl the toes under and come to a standing forward fold. Hips over the ankles. Let it go. Breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let it go. Now press straight down through the heels and stand up tall. Walk to the top of your mat with your palms facing forward in mountain pose. Close your eyes here and take a moment to establish your foundation, the feet, the legs. Get the pelvis in its correct structure. Stabilize that structure with muscle energy. And then the breath, which introduces the more watery principle. Okay, so you can open your eyes. Now we're moving into a few rounds of chair pose. It will mimic what we've done already on the mat. So you can start here with the feet parallel, about hip width. And when you inhale, your hips go back and your knees bend forward. And then press straight down through the center of the heels and stand up tall. So we'll do that 4 more times. 3, 2, 1. Now, same thing, but move your hips out to the left. So it's kind of crooked. 5, 4, squeeze at the top. 3, 2, 1. And now go towards the right. 5. Keep your feet the same and your knees the same. 3, you could always put a block between your knees. 2, 1. Stand up tall. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Full breath in. And exhale through your mouth. Press down through the heels. Inhale, stand up tall. We'll go through that sequence again. Straight forward and backward chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now to the right. Hips to the right. 4, 3, 2, 1. And hips to the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, let's see. We're going to try a one-leg chair now. This can reveal a lot of structural imbalances in your body. So let's just start by testing it out. You shift your weight to your left leg and you just hover your right leg, and I ask you to squat into a chair pose. I want you to notice look at your left leg and see if the knee is jutting inwards. Try not to let that happen. If your hips feel wonky, just notice that. And now stand up tall. So if that's the case, propping up your heel on a little lift, like a folded blanket, is really helpful. So you can try that if that was the case. So hover your right leg, and let's take 5 one-legged squats. It doesn't have to be very big. 5, 4. Keep all 4 corners of the supporting foot stable on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and lower. Very good. Now shift your weight. So if you use the blanket on the right leg or on the left leg, use it on the right leg. Charge the legs towards each other and find neutral pelvis, that specific tone at the base of the pelvic floor. Hover the left foot, and we'll do 10 of these on this side. 9. Resist the wobble. It's all about how specific can you be. 1 more. Okay. Shake that out. Very good job. Now come off of your blanket if you were on it. Have it nearby. Connect to neutral pelvis, and now we're moving into balance. You can start with your hands on your hips, and we'll be working with the left leg. So for here, when you open your left leg out to the left, notice if your hips just kind of dip to the right. That's not what we want. We want to commit to neutral pelvis as if you were lifting up off of the right leg while taking your left leg out to the left and down. So do that a few times. Try not to sink into the hips. Maintain the earth element, maintain the structure so that energy knows where to flow. Now, the next time your leg is down, pick your knee up. Don't sink your hips. See, I'm doing that sink off to the side? No. Bring it to neutral. Level your hips. Hook your hands under the thigh. Hold and breathe. A little bit more. Arms lift up. Keep the pelvis neutral and twist the right hand to the left knee. Look behind you. And inhale, untwist. Very good. Shift the weight over the left leg, but don't sink your hips, please. Neutral pelvis, strong and steady. Open the right leg out and close it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay out of the hip, lift up and out of over the top of the left thigh, bend the knee up, hold it and breathe. Pelvis is level. Now, option to bring the arms up, inhale and twist. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. You can gaze forward, or for more challenge, look behind you. Keep the pelvis level, that's your focus. Inhale to center, lower it down, shake it out. Very good. Now we get to try this one more time with added challenge by having to stand on a blanket. So fold the blanket up once or twice. The more folded it is and higher it is, the harder it's going to be. And stand on it. So you're making your foundation less stable so that the hips learn how to be more stable. Line up the 4 corners. It's going to shift, so just know that. Hands to the hips. The left leg is going out and back down. Don't sink into the hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring your knee up and hold it in balance while your hips remain level. Resist the wobble. You could reach your arms up and exhale, twist. Bring it back to the center and lower down. All right. Shift the weight. Hips level, not sinking. Right leg out and up. Two, one. Keep the hips level and hover the knee. Resist the wobble. Option to reach the arms up. Inhale and exhale, twist. Pelvis stays neutral, but that pelvis is not twisting. You're twisting from above your belly button. Don't let the left hip roll forward. Keep it pinned back and level. Bring it back to center and lower it down. All right, good job. Circle it out. Let it all go. Now from here, bring your heels to the edge of the blanket. We're moving into a squat. This is not accessible to everybody, so I'd suggest you could always sit on a couple blocks or just to skip this pose. You can also sit on the floor with your legs bent in a similar position. Let the hips relax here, but there's a soft, subtle tone in the pelvic floor. And stand up into a standing forward fold. Let it go. And then stand up tall and downward facing dog. Shift forward, lower the knees down, and come to lie on the belly in Sphinx pose. Elbows out in front of the shoulders, pelvis pressing down, glutes wrapping towards the heels, all 10 toenails evenly down. You'll feel the kneecaps are lifted, and you can stay here. Maybe you can bend your left knee. Maybe you'll slant your right hand inwards and reach back with your left hand. Getting a little bit of a stretch here in half frog. Eventually you can kind of hook the forearm across the top of the foot and draw the heel downwards. Don't sink into the shoulders, lift out of the shoulders. Okay, lower that down. You can take a little break in crocodile, wiggle your hips from side to side. Okay, and returning to Sphinx. Bend the right knee, doing a hamstring curl. Reach back with your right arm. Slant the left hand in as needed. And open the chest and the quad. Gently release it down. Now come up to hands and knees. Stand on your shin bones. Pelvis is pressing forward, hands to your back. Lift the chest up and back for camel. Option to stay here. Well, we'll do all this. Well, I'll do this one first. If there's any back pain, don't go so far and focus more on pushing your hips forward. Stand up tall. And option to do this one more time, maybe bringing the hands to the heels. Open to grace, wherever you are. Breathe. Take your time and you can sit straight down Swiveling your heels to the left of your legs, and a blanket would be a nice option here. Straighten your right leg forward and take your left knee over the top of the right knee. Flex the right foot so the toes are pulling back and you're sitting up tall. You could have your hands resting to the sides or around the front knee. Breathe here. If you'd like to tip your weight a little bit forward, walking the fingers forward. It doesn't take much. You'll feel a stretch in the bottom of your right leg. Breathing in, take your time and sit up tall. Twist towards the left. And then twist towards the right. Inhaling to the center, you can straighten your left leg. Cross the right knee over the top. You could always cross the ankle over the thigh. Flex the left foot, sit up tall. Inhale. And on the exhale, hinge slightly forward. Breathing in, you can sit up tall. Twist your spine towards the right. Inhaling to the center and exhaling towards the left. Inhale into the center, uncross the leg, bending both knees with the feet flat. Scooch your hips towards your heels and come to lie down on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Gentle rock from side to side. Circle your knees around. Reverse. Then you can separate your legs wide, hands to the inner knees, ankles or the inner edges of the feet, and rock gently from side to side. Maybe straightening one leg and then the other. You can place your feet down and windshield wiper the knees one more time. And when you come to the center, if there's any other postures that you'd like to use and complete your practice, you're welcome to. Otherwise, straighten your legs forward with your palms facing up and the eyes closed. Legs up the wall could also be an option here. This is your time to let go now. of any conscious effort. We could say that the earth element has been chiseled into place. The energy in the body now has direction. We don't have to hold the boundary anymore. It's there. Now you can go into the energetics and the breath and experience all the places where energy is moving in your body. Feeling organized and expansive. Everything in its proper place. Everything functioning perfectly. You might hear the words somewhere deep inside from your heart. My body is organized. Each part of my body knows what to do to keep me healthy. I support my body. I take care of my body. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome to remain here in Shavasana for as long as you need. When you feel complete, slowly and savoring each sweet moment, you can start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rolling over to your side before making your way up to a seated position with your hands together at the heart in acknowledgement and gratitude. Take care of yourself and have fun, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Namaste.